my son found me unconscious on the hospital bed, he discovered a letter on my kitchen table. It revealed the truth I'd hidden for years. Every dollar I'd given him was meant to save my own life. But I chose him instead. This is the story of how we almost lost everything. Because we were too afraid to tell the truth. Let me take you back to where it all started. My name is Robert Sullivan. I'm 72 years old. My wife, Margaret, passed away 10 years ago. Since then, I've lived alone in a small one-bedroom apartment on the east side of town, the kind with thin walls and a view of the parking lot. Most mornings, I make myself a cup of coffee and sit by the window. I watch the world move while I stay still. My son, David, got married 5 years ago. He doesn't call much anymore. But I understand. Life gets busy. Careers, mortgages, responsibilities. I remember what that was like. One evening, my phone rang. David's name lit up the screen. My heart jumped a little. I answered quickly. "Hey, Dad." His voice sounded strained. "David, good to hear from you, son. How are you and Jennifer doing?" There was a pause. Not the comfortable kind. "Dad, I need to talk to you about something." I set down my coffee. "We're in a tough spot financially. The mortgage refinance fell through. And Jennifer's student loans are killing us. I hate asking, but could you help us out? Just this once?" The words hit me harder than I expected. I'm not rich. Never have been. I live on Social Security and a modest pension. I've saved what I could, but it wasn't much. Still, he's my son. "How much do you need?" $5,000 would get us through. $5,000, half of my emergency fund. "Dad, you still there?" "Yeah," I said quietly. "Yeah, I'm here. I'll take care of it." "Thank you. I mean it. This is just temporary. I'll pay you back." But something in his voice told me he wouldn't. After we hung up, I sat in the dark for a long time. Then I opened my laptop and transferred the money. I didn't know it then. But that single act of love would set everything in motion. Winter came early that year. 3 months after the first call, David called again. "Dad, I'm really sorry to ask again." My stomach dropped. "They cut my hours at work. We're barely making rent. I know I said I'd pay you back, but right now. Could you help us one more time?" I stared at the phone. "Just 3,000. That's all we need. 3,000. Another chunk of my savings." Before I could answer, Jennifer got on the line. "Robert, I know this is asking a lot." Her voice was cold, professional. "But we wouldn't ask if we had any other option. We'll figure it out after this, I promise." I wanted to say no. I wanted to tell them I couldn't keep doing this. Instead, I said, "Okay." The next day, I went to the bank. As I waited in line, I felt lightheaded. The teller asked if I was all right. "Fine," I lied. "Just fine." That night, I wrote in my journal something Margaret had encouraged me to do after she died. Am I still a father? Or just an ATM they call when they're desperate? I closed the notebook and turned off the light. My birthday came in March. 72 years old. Not a milestone, but still it would have been nice to hear from David. I checked my phone every hour. Nothing. At 2 p.m., a text arrived. "Happy birthday, Dad. Swamped at work. We'll call soon." That was it. My neighbor, Frank, knocked on my door that evening. He'd brought leftover birthday cake from his granddaughter's party. "Where's your boy today, Rob?" "Busy," I said, forcing a smile. "You know how it is." Frank frowned but didn't push. After he left, I sat alone in my apartment. The cake sat untouched on the counter. I thought about calling David. But then I remembered what Jennifer had said last time we spoke. "Robert, maybe it's better if you don't call so much." It's a lot of pressure on David. Pressure. That word echoed in my mind. I was pressure. My existence was a burden. I put my phone in a drawer and decided not to call him first anymore. That night, something changed inside me. A decision began to form, one I didn't fully understand yet. 2 months passed without contact. During that time, my body began to fail in ways I couldn't ignore anymore. Chest pains, shortness of breath, exhaustion that sleep couldn't fix. The truth is, I'd been sick for years. End-stage heart failure. That's what Drive Patel called it. She'd been urging me to have surgery, a risky procedure, but my only real chance. I'd postponed it twice. The surgery cost $40,000 after insurance. I had enough saved, until I gave it to David. But I made a choice. I chose to help my son instead of helping myself. I thought this is what fathers do. They sacrifice. At my last appointment, Drive Patel asked for my emergency contact. Who should we call if something happens? I looked at the form. There's no one, I said. Mr. Sullivan, you have a son. He doesn't need to know. She studied my face. You're making a mistake. Maybe I was, but it was my mistake to make. Meanwhile, across town, David was struggling in ways I didn't know. He hadn't just asked me for money because of bad luck. His company was laying people off. He'd been put on a performance improvement plan, corporate speak for, you're about to be fired. The stress was destroying him. He'd snap at Jennifer. He barely slept. And asking me for money? It made him feel like a failure. So he avoided me, not because he didn't care, but because he cared too much and felt too ashamed. One afternoon, David ran into Mrs. Chen from my building at the grocery store. Your father, she said carefully. Have you seen him lately? Not in a while. Why? He collapsed outside last week. The paramedics came. He refused treatment. David's face went pale. What? He's been alone, David. Very alone. David dropped his groceries and drove to my apartment. The door was unlocked. The apartment was silent. On the kitchen table, a letter. Unsealed. Waiting. And on my phone, still plugged into the charger, a voice memo I'd recorded but never sent. David sat down and read. David, if you're reading this, I'm probably in the hospital. Or worse. I need you to know something. The money I gave you wasn't extra. It was my surgery fund. I've been sick for a long time. Heart failure. The doctors said I needed an operation, but I chose to help you instead. I don't regret it. Being a father means putting your child first even when they don't ask you to. Even when it costs everything. But I do regret the silence. I should have told you I was sick. I was afraid you'd feel guilty, and I didn't want that. I wanted you to remember me as strong. Now I realize strength isn't pretending everything is fine. Strength is being honest, even when it's hard. I love you, son. I always have. Live your life without guilt. That's my last wish. Dad. David's hands shook as he read. He pressed play on the voice memo. David, it's Dad. I recorded this because I don't think I'll have the courage to say it out loud. I want you to know. I'm proud of you, even if life got hard. Even if we grew apart. You're still my son, and that means everything. The recording ended. David sat in my empty apartment and wept. He found me in the ICU an hour later. I was unconscious, but I felt the warmth of his hand holding mine. Dad, I'm so sorry. I should have been there. I should have known. I couldn't respond, but I felt him there. And that was enough. Family is strange. We hurt the ones we love while trying to protect them. We stay silent when we should speak. We realize the truth only when it's almost too late. But sometimes there's still time. David stayed by my side through the surgery I finally agreed to. The odds weren't good, but I survived. Recovery was slow, but he visited every week. We really talked for the first time in years. He told me about his job stress, his fears, his shame. I told him about my loneliness, my pride, my regrets. We both cried. We both apologized. And slowly, we rebuilt what we'd almost lost. If you're reading this and someone in your family feels far away, call them. Don't wait for the perfect moment. There isn't one. Just reach out before it's too late.